Yo, what's up, everybody, and welcome back to another Chubbs Reviews era, where I bring you a review every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And today, strap up, because today we're going to be sitting down for a long video. This is a no spoilers review of The Last of Us Part 2. I might do spoilers towards the end, but I'll let you guys know. I'll say it like 5 times. But anyway, starting off, Last of Us 2 right now is getting a ton of hate from fans and a ton of love from critics. I feel like I'm in a somewhat unique position of I'm not like a big reviewer to get paid off or anything like that, obviously, and I'm just some random guy. And yeah, but anyway, also full disclosure, um, I didn't necessarily play this game. I watched my friend Wesley play it. Shout out to Wesley. You know, I have some friends that I watch things play, like Parker, God of War, and Red Dead, and sometimes Karen. I have a few friends here and there that I would like that help me kind of do these reviews sometimes if I didn't necessarily want to play a game or review it, or they happen to pick up one that I haven't played in a while and I want to see their reactions to it. But overall, long story short, my friend ended up getting it and letting me watch him play through it on a share play on PlayStation. So we basically kind of co-opted the game, like couch co-opted it, but I just sat next to him or watched on over the internet pretty much on my PlayStation, and I was there for every moment and all the way through. So I didn't have my hands on the controller, but I'll also let you guys know his thoughts and his rating briefly towards the end as well, as someone who had a hands on. But I was there, like I said, all the whole time. And anyway, part two, right? People love it and hate it. There was a lot of surprises in this for me, in this game for me. I knew about the leaks. I read the leaks when they came out about a month ago because they were such an outrage, and that's why I didn't want to play this game. Is because I knew about the leaks. My friend did not know about the leaks. Went into this completely blind, and that's also a difference in experience here between me and him, between me and Wesley. So shout out to him again. Thank you to him for letting me watch him play this. So in this, I'm gonna do like basically the story setup. Majority of the time, I'm gonna play as Ellie, and it's pretty much just a revenge story. The story is the weakest part of this game, as everyone's been out there saying, and I do still believe that the pacing is pretty bad. It is a revenge story, and you get into the revenge right away, playing as Ellie to try to track down the antagonist of the game, which is a person named Abby, and I mean, you're in a zombie world. The gameplay is pretty much just like the first game, except they added, it's a third-person type of shooter. Kind of reminds me of old Resident Evil or Gears of War in a sense, but less action. But there's a lot of action in this game. But you can go the stealthy route, and the only difference in this game is you can lay down all the way in like tall grass and shit like that, like in Uncharted 4. The animations for melee are extremely cool and brutal and deadly. And there's a dodge button, which is always fun. So yeah, there's all that. I'm trying to think what I could say without spoiling too much. But yeah, play as Ellie throughout most of the game, and then I don't think this is a spoiler. I think you should know this whether you plan to play the game or haven't already. Is you also play as another character, which is the antagonist Abby, and you learn she's a villain pretty early, and then you end up being forced to play as her later on, and that's where the big divide is in this story. There are some decisions that just get made that are weird, and also the pacing. Some things happen really early on, to where I feel like it happens so early that it's hard to really draw emotion from it as quick. Like they didn't set it up good enough. Later on, the moments where you play as Abby aren't the greatest. The game kind of drags on a little bit in some areas too. This all revolves around pacing. They also do a lot of flashback scenes, a lot, and kind of throwing you all over the place. Like you play as Ellie first through a few days, and then you go back in time and play as pretty much Abby for those few days, and then those timelines meet up, and that's the game. But it's just too convoluted and conjuncted. Not maybe not convoluted, but there are a lot of characters in this, a lot of new characters. Some of them I like actually, even though everyone says they hate all the new characters. I actually like Dina and Jesse, basically all of Ellie's new friends. Um, but Abby on her side, I didn't love a lot of her friends and her stories, especially her story, man. It just dragged out, and they honestly like. I'm not a hater against anything like sexual orientation or anything like that, but they literally put transgender politics in my zombie game. like me and my friend while watching this next to each other, we had some great moments like when Ellie sings a song. Like the first 12 hours of this game, I gotta say, are amazing. The first 12 hours, you strictly play as Ellie pretty much, and it is so much fun. You get to see what Ellie's learned from Joel when it comes to you know uh, negotiating tactics or swimming or other things. Guitar, some beautiful guitar moments in this game. Soundtrack is perfect. Sound in general, sound design in this game is flawless. When it comes to moving the guns, taking the guns apart, cleaning them, upgrading them, reloading, getting around in the grass, hearing the clickers. The atmosphere is perfect. The graphics are great. A lot of people love the graphics. I love them too. Obviously, they're 10 out of 10. But I kind of liked Uncharted 4's graphics more. Maybe it's just because everywhere was always so dead and depressed, and that makes sense for the world. But just a little. I remember Uncharted 4 being a little bit more beautiful in this game for whatever reason. This game still has its own. The combat in general is your sneak around or guns blazing type of thing. The game is long, so you kind of end up getting pretty built up, and you have ammo throughout. It's kind of an action game, less than a survival horror game. That's definitely the case there, but it's still fun. I would say I like the combat. I was seeing a lot of people who didn't like it. Sometimes some people didn't like it. It's because it is a 22, 23, 25 hour long game. That's pretty much twice as long, if not three times as long as the first one, and you feel that it's definitely a little bit dragged out. In my opinion, me and my friend both wanted more by the end, but that's because we got distracted so much. We were in such a long kind of side mission feel like that the transgender mission. It's literally a transgender like coming out mission. I guess it's not. They don't try to make it that way, but it's what it is. And there's a lot of politics like that in the game. And by the end of it, women are at the forefront of this game, and it's just so kind of forced. Like no one cares. Like it's not a big deal. There are great female leads and female characters in the world. Ellie's was kind of one of them, and they do some weird things with her character in this too, where it's like, Ellie's not always the good guy. They really try to make everyone not a good guy, and show you that everyone's bad. Like that's basically the game, and revenge consumes you. You know, but at the end of the day, who really wanted that? Not any of us. Ellie, if you know from the first game, she is immune to the zombie disease, and it just doesn't matter in this game. It's all about like arguing about that with her and Joel. Like they do kind of bring it up, but it's like it's not, the game's not about that. This game could have been about anyone. It could have been about any single survivor in the zombie world, but instead they chose someone who has such a unique kind of gift in this world. And they don't explain it at all. They don't dive deeper into it. Why she's immune, or if there's other immune people, or it's just not about that. It's about relationships and politics, and gender and revenge and depression. It's not what we wanted. So yeah, at least that's not what I wanted, and that's where the story really falls down. Is that the story itself has to be justified, because we don't even need a Last of Us Part 2. We already have a Last of Us Part 1. Well, of course we already do, but it ended good. It was great. It was open to interpretation and greatness. This is just so not that. And then the ending, my friend didn't mind the ending, but me and everyone else online gotta know we're just not satisfied with the ending. I kind of get more of everything. I remember when the leaks came out, context matters, and there is a lot of context here to things, but they're kind of forced and weird. And everything that does happen in this game, it's not really an emotional ride. Like you feel some emotion, but I've definitely teared up in more games other times, like more. It's more about shocking and shock value here. They're always trying to shock you with what happens, and shock this, and ooh, you should be shocked. It's just a lot of shocking. I know I said that word a lot, but that's what this game is. But the gameplay, I still think the gameplay is super fun. It's once in a while is kind of frustrating. As much as my friend didn't want to admit it, but it was obviously. But overall, I think it's got a fun flow to it. If you didn't like the first game's combat, then you're not gonna like this game's combat, and you probably shouldn't even play this game, because that's one thing that really makes up for some of the story flaws. And the stories themselves are acted well. It was more interesting than I thought it would be. There are some characters I like and do care about, and some of it's predictable, and some of it's shocking. It goes both ways. My friend was predicting some things right before they happened. Other times it was kind of like so ridiculously shocking that how could you predict that? But either way, it is what it is. I think I'm gonna go into spoilers now at the 10-minute mark. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you watched this far, but we're just gonna talk about some spoilers now. Spoilers, spoilers, spoilers. Do not watch if you don't want to see spoilers. Anyway, so Joel dies. That's the revenge story, and Abby ends up. You got the whole Abby and Elliot thing on both sides, and they have different friends within each other. Like Abby has a pregnant friend, Ellie has a pregnant friend. Ellie kills Abby's pregnant friend. Abby spares Ellie's pregnant friend and Ellie at one point, and then you get to the end, and Ellie spares Abby and her friend at one point. So it's a lot of forgiveness. That's how my friend put this game. He said it was more about forgiveness than revenge. He also said, and I thought it was a great line from him, uh, this game is very kind of dark and realistically gritty in the sense that not everyone's going to want to play this. It's just not a game for everyone. But it is, it is what it is. It had a vision, and it carried out that vision, and you got to respect that to where it is. Um, yeah, it was overall a depressing journey. I'm kind of glad it's over with. I don't think this game is nearly as bad as everyone says, but it's not a masterpiece either. It's not as good as the reviewers say. I hate to be a fence sitter and sit in the middle and play both sides, but that's literally how I feel. I feel this game is good. If you haven't bought it yet, then save your money. Wait for it to go to $40, $30. Um, Maybe because then you'll have less for buyer's remorse. But if not, this is a game you can miss out on. I'd rather replay the first one. This game has zero replay value. Like in the first game, you would remember moments that you were going to and were going to get to, and were really excited to see those moments and areas. And in this game, I know there's going to be none of that. You're not excited to replay as fucking Abby. You play for Abby for like 8 hours, and her whole like Lev, like the whole transgender thing I was talking about, is there's a character named Lev, and like at first you meet him, and it's Lev, and then when you guys are like fighting his people, they start calling him Lily, and then you realize that he got kicked out because he shaved his head and wanted to basically be a man, and then he had to kill his mom later on because she wouldn't accept him, like, uh, and that was like a 5 hour long mission. That was 5 hours long at least. Like 8 or 10 of the hours of Abby, 5 of that is transgender focused. And then the other hours is got the most cringy sex scenes I've ever seen in my life. The most cringy sex scene. It's just one, but you see Abby's flappy titty, flapjack looking titties. It is disgusting. I can't believe they put that in this game. Maybe I shouldn't be body shaming, but it was really unnecessary, very cringy. A lot of this game is cringy, but I guess I've hated on it more than I liked it, but I did like it. To be honest, for the most part, kinda. Like I said, more than most games. Even if I would have played it myself, like full on, it is. I think it would have been fun to get through, especially if I didn't pay for it. But I don't know. I liked it for what it was. Okay, I'm gonna stop repeating myself. The final verdict, my friend's final verdict was an 8 out of 10. He shaved off a point because of Joel's extremely early death. Obviously, it was just stupid, and the game, pretty much just story flaws. The game dragged on with Abby, and they also make you literally fight Abby, or goddamn, fight Ellie as Abby. Like Ellie is the hardest boss in the game. My friend died the most fighting Ellie as Abby. Not that, and then yeah, not that she dies or anything, but it's like a boss fight. So my friend, final verdict, gave it an 8 out of 10. That's someone who played the game, and as someone who sat pretty much right next to him through the whole time, I give it a 7 out of 10. Final verdict for me is a 7. Thought about kind of giving it a 6, but when he gives it an 8, and it really isn't as bad. If you go in there with not as many expectations, it's not nearly as perfect as the first game, not nearly as good. And if you don't really know anything about Joel, this game wouldn't matter to you. Like, that wouldn't matter to you at all. But knowing this took 7 years, it does. It's still a 7 out of 10 for me. This game is just like Bioshock in a sense, the first one. That the story was great in Bioshock, but the gameplay bored me to fucking death. This is literally the exact opposite here. And someone ends up dying with a golf club. It's the same game. There's always a man and a lighthouse. If there was a lighthouse in this game, I swear to God, it's in the Bioshock universe. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching my long-ass 15-minute video. Last of Us Part 2 was definitely definitive, divided, whatever. But at least we're all passionate about something. This game was supposed to be the chosen one and save us from the coronavirus, but he joined the Sith and not destroyed them. Anyway, guys, like, comment, subscribe. See you guys in the next video.